Hey, welcome to Board Game. Today, I'm Brett. We're doing unboxing of the latest Unmatched set. This is Little Red Riding Hood versus Beowulf. Now, for those who don't know Unmatched, it's a miniature game where you go and take two characters and battle it out on a board. It's kind of a cross between, I would say, like chess and a miniature game. Each character has a deck of cards, and the cards are kind of what the actions that you take every turn. You move characters around, battle it out, and see who is victorious. Now, what's cool is each set has themes. So this one comes with Little Red Riding Hood and Beowulf, and there's other sets that are out there. Some that have, like, Bruce Lee is one, Jurassic Park is another, so you could have Little Red Riding Hood taking on raptors. Buffy was a recent one. You've got some of the classic horror characters like the Invisible Man is in another set. So it's cool that you can mix and match characters and have it battle out. In the future, they're coming out with a few Marvel sets that they've teased, which just opens things up even more. Really fun game. It's one of my favorite things that I've played recently. The last, I think, Gen Con, I absolutely fell in love with the game. So this is the latest set we're going to open up. It is standalone. I think that's another thing I really enjoy about this game and these sets is you can pick up pretty much all of those main boxes. There's, I think, really only one set that you can't play by itself, and that's a Bruce Lee set, and just play. So you can start anywhere. So it's ages 9 and up, 2 players, about 20 minutes per game. The game, this comes with 63 cards, 2 miniatures, and a battlefield. As I said, Little Red Riding Hood and Beowulf, you can check out on the side. So let's open up. We're going to show off what's inside. I did a little preparation for this. I generally don't do that, but I figured you all don't want to watch me undo plastic wrapping for cards, so that's the minimum, or that's the max I did. Sorry, I haven't looked at the cards, haven't looked at the miniatures, nothing. So all this is still first reactions. We've got, of course, the rule book in the game. You can see the rules are not that complicated. None of these have been super complicated, word heavy rule books. They're pretty self-explanatory and easy to get through. So some cool stuff, easy, breezy to go. Nice little icon reference in the back. We got the dial for the characters. So this is actually we got some new stuff here. So we've got door tokens. I don't think we've seen that before. We got Beowulf's rage tokens. That's new as well. So we're gonna have to, play some games and figure out all that stuff. So you play your dials to figure out what is going on, which is cool. We got Beowulf's dial and Little Red Riding Hood's dial. The art's fantastic on this one. I'm really liking the style of everything. As I said, in the games you get boards to play on, which is pretty cool because you can mix and match and do different boards. And for the most part, most of the boards are double-sided, so you get some options to go and play, which is pretty cool as far as variety. So, it's not just a board. You get 2 boards in one game. 2 boards, 1 game. All right, we got, of course, the miniatures. Little Red Riding Hood, and then Beowulf. Let's go with Little Red. Really quick look at the character. It's interesting sculpt. She kind of looks like a dog. Or a wolf, I guess. It's a little bit clear. So it's funny. It's clearer on the back than it is the actual miniature. We'll take the deck of cards out. It's not that big a deal. Actually, it's better on the back, and we'll kind of show it off. So you can see maybe the face on the back. The face doesn't come through all that well on the miniature. How well it's going to actually go, because it's a miniature, so not the easiest to see. But the face isn't quite as clear, so that's kind of a bummer. Most of these miniatures are really, really solid when it comes to the detail. This one seems to be a little off in the actual end product. Maybe it's just the one I've got is not all that great. But overall, the pose is pretty cool. I like the hunched down, cape up with the basket on the side. That's not a pose that we've seen a lot with any of the figures in this game that I can think of. It's a pretty original figure, and something I generally like about the game in general. It stays away from that stereotypical pose like this. It does do some mixing things up every once in a while, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this is kind of cool. It's a very different pose. The face is kind of a bummer about it, but I like the fact that they pre-wash the figures. It gives you some depth, and looks pretty decent. Of course, then we got Beowulf is just a massive warrior. We can actually we'll compare the two in size, which is actually great that they care about size differences in the characters. Again, really good detail on it. I like the shield. The shield's got a lot of detail. It's kind of impressive, and the wash comes out. Actually, the figure as a whole is a detail. The armor on the front, I don't know, what do you call that? Armor on the shins. Yeah, I don't know what that's called. Shin armor. I don't know. There's a proper term for it. I don't know what it is. Everything's really, really good, and then the sword is actually straight and come out pretty solid. I mean, this is actually better than some of the miniatures from miniature game companies. So this is impressive. This is really, really impressive. The face actually looks really good. I don't know how well that's going to come off on video, but that's a pretty badass looking face and pose. All right, let's look at the extras here. We, of course, got stuff to put the dials together, and we've got some tokens. I don't know what tokens come with each. I'm gonna guess Little Red Riding Hood has the Forest Ranger that helps her, and who's Beowulf's person? I know Beowulf takes on Grendel, but I don't know who Beowulf's token would be. All right, so there we go. So Little Red Riding Hood's is Huntsman, and Beowulf's is Wiglaf, which that name sounds somewhat familiar. It's been a really long time since I've had to deal with any of that. All right, let's look at the cards. So Beowulf, this is what I would kind of generally expect. I would think this would be a character that would be largely melee, get in, club, and just hack, just beat things heavily. All right, so you can take 2 actions. You can run you through the cards as to what it does, or the character what it does. So Beowulf, Beowulf starts with 1 rage. When Beowulf is dealt damage, he gains 1 rage. Beowulf has a maximum of 3 rage. What does rage do? Special ability, move 2. Interesting. Attack, you can melee. Sidekicks Wiglaf. Starting health is 9. All right, let's go through the cards. We got the first card, War King. During combat, spend any amount of rage. This card's value is +2 for each rage spent. There we go. This makes sense. So Beowulf is, so we got exactly what the rage is for. We got that one. So we got a Golden Drinking Horn. Spend any amount of rage. Choose a different effect for each rage spent. Draw 2 cards. Move Beowulf up to 4 spaces or recover health. So we got a way to gain some health and get some movement out of there. So yeah, I mean he's a warrior. This is one that you want to get in and just beat people with. So clearly you want some rage. Ancient Heirloom. Card effects cannot be canceled. Combat, you may spend 2 rage to make this card's value 5. Instead, you may spend 1 rage to boost this card. You may do both. Interesting. This next one. Epic Poem. Immediately you gain 1 rage, and then during combat this card's value is +1 for each rage you have. So we're seeing a lot of like combat boosting for the character, which is kind of what I expect. He'd be one that you get pissed. Hulk's out. Beowulf is a Hulk. The more pissed he gets, the stronger he gets. Equal of Grendel. You may spend 2 rage to deal damage to the opposing fighter equal to the printed value of their card. Interesting. Vigor and Courage. Choose an opponent. They discard 1 random card. Gain rage equal to its boost value. So, Remnant of Valor. Wiglaf deals 1 damage to each adjacent fighter. If Beowulf was dealt damage this way, gain 1 action. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so he very much is like a Wolverine Hulk. The more damage he takes, the stronger he gets, and the more pissed off he does. Wiglaf may swap spaces with Beowulf. That could be very helpful. Yeah, we got no contest expecteth. If you attacked a sidekick and won the combat, you may spend 3 rage to defeat that sidekick. Skirmish. After combat, if you won the combat, move 1 of the fighters in the combat up to 2 spaces. So all this makes sense. When I'm really kind of thinking about Beowulf, this is kind of what I expect for the character. Cancel all effects on your opponent's card is Feint. Fatal Struggle is the final one. After combat, if you won the combat, draw 2 cards. If you lost the combat, your opponent draws 2 cards. Interesting. All right, let's look at Little Red Riding Hood. We got resolve any effect on card you play with the symbol next to the effect matches the item. At the start of the game, place Little Red's basket in your discard pile. Interesting. This is Little Red's basket. This starts in your discard pile. It does not count as a card. Intriguing. Let's see what that comes up. And let's go off the cards. Yeah, what big ears you have. You may play this card as a defense card. Alright. What big eyes you have. I'm sensing a theme. Cancel all effects on your opponent's card. Also ignore the value of your opponent's card. Alright. What terrible big mouth you have. After combat, deal damage to the opposing fighter equal to the printed value of their card. It's a Beowulf. Beowulf got something like that, right? What large hands you have. After combat, you may return this card to your hand. Instead, you may return the top card of your discard pile to your hand. Ooh, that could be really helpful. That reminds me of some stuff I was doing with Bruce Lee when I was playing him. Into the Woods. Move Little Red up to 3 spaces, gain 1 action. Into the woods you go. Grim Tail. Little Red recovers 2 health. Little Red recovers 4 health instead. This does seem to have like a lot of cards with 2 instead of 3 in them, which is interesting. Long have I sought you. During combat, if the huntsman is adjacent to the opposing fighter, the value of this card is 6 instead. Right. Once upon a time. After combat, deal 3 damage to the opposing fighter. Little Red, what's that in my basket? 4 of those. Counts as any one symbol. Interesting. Intriguing. Never leave the path. Little Red, I'm trying to figure out more what the strategy is. Beowulf was easy to figure out the strategy, but Little Red, I'm trying to figure this one out. Place Little Red in any space, gain 1 action, deal 2 damage to each opposing fighter in Little Red's zone, draw 3 cards. So it's a lot of card drawing. After combat, draw 2 cards. That's the wolf skin. A lot of just going through burning cards from what I can tell. And the final one is Stone in the Belly. During combat, your opponent discards 1 random card, add its boost value to this card's value. Interesting. Really interesting. So Little Red, I'm not getting a good sense as to how to play the character and the deck. Beowulf is pretty straightforward of just getting in there and beating the crap out of the opponent and taking damage and regaining life. So intriguing, very, very interesting. Hopefully we'll get this on the table soon and be able to have a better sense as to what I think about this overall. Beautiful set. Like the art's fantastic. The coloring is really good. It definitely feels something that's different in the game, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. So Unmatched, Little Red Riding Hood versus Beowulf is out now in stores. We've got links underneath this video where you can purchase. Some of them will be affiliate links. Affiliate links, we do get a small percentage. By doing that, you help support our site, so thank you. As always, if you are looking for the latest game news, check us out every single day at BoardGameToday.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all at Board Game Today, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, keep playing those games and get your game on. Hey, thanks for watching Board Game Today. We always appreciate your views and your support, but there are so many ways for you to support our site. Not only can you do right here on video, but you can go and check us out at BoardGameToday.com, where we have more news, reviews, interviews, everything you could ever want. But since you're here, if you could, you can always give us a like, subscribe, or share our videos or watch something else. Is always much appreciated, and get your game on.